Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Martin Sheriff's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, employees of the Martin District Attorney's Office, Paul C. Melcher, James Money Jr., Pennsylvania Court, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I've been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked to court. I'm demanding the names of my prosecutors. On this June 30th, there are 22 Freedom of Information Law documents in here. It's attached in PDF. 17 of these in office on June 21, and I added 5. So you disgusting, sickening, repulsive Jonestown Kool-Aid drinkers at the District Attorney's Office, when I arrive at the foil, and you know the answer to this, Public Defender Julie Sianka, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips. This is the payroll for the District Attorney's Office right here as I communicate with you with the official finger of Brooklyn, New York, to tell you what I think about you sociopaths. The prosecutor's on here. I have a prosecutor before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Pennsylvania Court, Paul C. Melcher in Pennsylvania Court, and who elevated me to this $208,000 hack and fossil, 70 years old, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. The prosecutor signed to it. I would be in Albany, New York right now, where I lived in the city for 5 years and 10 years. If it wasn't for this sociopath that forced me to Alex Renzi, who is it? You know the name, District Attorney Perry Douglas. You know the name of this sociopath that forced me into Alex Renzi, who then remanded me to Monroe County Jail. I'm going to go into facts and circumstances about that later, even though I've talked about it. The name of my prosecutors of silence is right here on the payroll of the District Attorney's Office. You refuse to comply, you were rejected. That's why it's called rejection. I believe I used that word previously or something similar to it. The law's a joke to you, sociopaths, the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office. It really is. The law is whatever you say it is, whatever you think it is. Every foil I'm going to read, there were 22, there were 17 here. You got it on June 21. This is in your office. When I say it's in your office, I just don't put this in the mail and hope it gets there. This is May 27th. Every one I'm going to read except for the last 5. May 27th. Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Trini Ross, United States Attorney for the Western District of New York in Buffalo, Alex Renzi, who forced me to Alex Renzi. So, 17 I'm going to read. You got here on this May 27th. Now, this is registered mail. I need to emphasize, I'll repeat things, because I'm concerned about the state of your minds. There's really something radically wrong with you employees at the Sheriff's Office who don't know what constitutes a crime. Every single one of my crimes is a fiction and fantasy. Your job is to be able to identify a crime. On my 50th birthday, July 4, 2015, I got a speeding ticket in my place in employment in Albany, New York, speeding ticket in place in employment in Washington, D.C. I didn't suddenly become a criminal. I moved here in 2012 to be my then girlfriend, Will Riley. And he's just concocting charge after charge of crime after crime for me. It's a total lie. You do not know what is a crime. Andrew Riley doesn't know. Him and his $79,000 salary. Shannon Meyer doesn't know. And her $83,000 salary. Don Benedetto and his $85,000 salary doesn't know. Michael Lynn, his $73,000 salary doesn't know. 40-plus pounds overweight fat girl Leela Roke and her $97,000 salary, you don't know. You don't know what constitutes a crime, and that's why you're a joke. So, June 22nd here. This is the foil that you received on that June 22nd. This is dated June 21st. This foil here that I'm going to read, received. Because here it is right here. District Attorney Sandra Doorley. You looked at this and refused to send it to either Krista.Chichester, that's an email, cchichester.jo4@gmail.com, that's on the foil, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604. You looked right at the foil of disgusting, sickening Jonestown Kool-Aid drinking District Attorney Sandra Doorley, and you refused to disclose the names of my prosecutors. That's a reason why you're corrupt. You will never know you're corrupt, District Attorney Doorley. Elliot Spitzer, to this day, and I was in Albany the day he resigned on March 13, 2008, does not know he's corrupt. Because that's why I ran for New York City Control 5 years later. Trini Ross got this, June 22nd. Alex Renzi got this. This is the frightening existence of this hack. He doesn't think he has to explain anything. When I say language that's ridiculous, he really doesn't. And this is why these judges can be extremists, like Paul C. Melcher and John P. Lomenzo Jr. and Pennsylvania Alex Renzi. They know they don't have to explain anything. And the law in the state of New York, as I understand it, has little accountability for these judges. It is nearly impossible to remove a corrupt judge from a court. That's why Alex Renzi can smash me into a million little pieces, and that's why John P. Lomenzo Jr. and Paul C. Melcher can do it. who Alex Renzi's in there with 25% of the vote. I'm sure you know that. And that's a joke. Those laws need to be changed too by the legislature. Merrick Garland got the Attorney General. I sent the Attorney General of the United States a packet of about 300 documents, Todd Baxter, including this document right here, where it says the Shield. This is on April 16th about your cop freak. Everything that's happened to me is because of this cop freak Shannon Meyer, 83-291-42 cents. When I contact Control Thomas B. DiNapoli, I'm going to say to audit you. One of the reasons I'm going to sign is, why do you pay your employees in cents? You Benito Mussolini skinhead degenerate Todd Baxter. The Attorney General got this too, where he's able to look at this document. I just said this again to you, where it says January 1, Perry Douglas at Monroe County District Attorney's Office. The Attorney General opens it. And I've ridden by the United States Department of Justice on my bike when I worked on Capitol Hill. He'll be able to see in document after document after document. I've been telling you hacks and sociopaths, the District Attorney's Office disclosing names of our prosecutors. They're right here. So here's another slip of the post office. And those names I just read, this is June 26th and June 27th. Here again. All those names I read, those red and white cards, registered mail, web demanding the names of my prosecutors. I go to the post office there. I got the best stamps. Purple Heart stamps. I went to the post office. The Postal Service employee told me that her father was a Purple Heart recipient. My uncle is a Purple Heart recipient too. So we're talking to the post office about our family members being heroes. So I got a hero right here, my little guy coming to my residence to demand my dog, the lunatic fringe. I have contacted Lollipop Farms and Humane Society 2 years ago. I'm going to go back to that because I would like to adopt a dog before I move back to Albany. I, in all likelihood, will not be able to adopt a dog because I've been in jail 6 times and they will know it. Where prosecutors never talk to court. Lunatic friend. Again, Perry Douglas, how do you possibly look at this that's in your office? There's one thing if I send an email, you blow me off. This is in your office. Warrant for my arrest, this cop freak, how do you employ this cop freak? It is absolutely insane that you employ this cop freak. Here it is. This is going to say a piece of paper sends me to Monroe County Jail the first time where a prosecutor doesn't talk to court, and this is it. I'm walking to the parking lot where I live in Penfield for the 4,000th time. This man, Nayrod shot a 50-year-old man who lived with his 70-year-old mother, begins to scream at me. I have this confrontation with him. Shannon Meyer calls me. I tell this cop freak, why are you calling me? People walk through this parking lot all day long? Because I can see them, and I pass them. When I'm going to the Gold Gym in Fairport, going to the gym, coming back, I'm passing people. I can see people. I can see people from my first floor sliding glass window, my second floor bedroom window. All day long, people who walk through this parking lot. My exact words to her, why are you calling me? Because she's a cop freak. This is why people hate the police. You disgusting, sickening Jonestown Kool-Aid drinker. That's why people hate the police. I warrant, and right here, this cop freak, Shannon Meyer, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, is why American citizens hate the police. If you were asked Todd Baxter, why do citizens hate the police? You don't know. If you were asked that question by this joke media that doesn't even cover, you know what your answer is going to be? It's that usual stumbling and bumbling and refusal to answer a question. Either you're doing this because you're a Machiavellian calculator, or you're at some kind of Rain Man level of incoherence where you don't know you're doing this. It's one or the other. I hesitate to get into someone's head because I don't want anybody doing that with me. And you have done that with me because of where I've been. When I've left Monroe County Jail the first time, and then when I left Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, where Thomas J. Doherty is the sheriff. 2 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees came and drove me north to Syracuse from Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. Again, the things you're doing to me. When I went to graduate school at SUNY Albany in 1990, my excellent friend Anthony Scardino was getting ready to go work for the FBI. And Anthony's a graduate of SUNY Geneseo. And when I'm in Geneseo and I can see the university, I'm thinking about Anthony. And I'm thinking what I think about any of my small circle of friends. I will never tell Anthony I was in Geneseo, New York, and what's happened to me. And it's because of the cop freak on here, Shannon Meyer. Everything that happened to me when I'm in Geneseo, New York, is because of this cop freak right here. So, Frank Chernetsky, I want to get the thing so I can summon a recall for it. Todd Baxter, when I contact Thomas P. DiNapoli, that means Frank Chernetsky is 75 years old, 57-year employee. And right below him is Michael Corey, 29 years, calls him 32 years. I read those days before. So Scott Alberti, you're copied on here, 28-year employee of the Sheriff's Office. Do you do evaluations of the employees like Scott Alberti? You should know Todd Baxter as a veteran. I don't know what it's like today. It used to be called the enlisted evaluation report, where 125 you would max out. We evaluated in different boxes, scale of 1 to 5, 5 is the maximum. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been evaluated by the enlisted evaluation report, Todd Baxter. Do you have the equivalent of the EER for someone like Scott Alberti or Michael Abate at 22 years, or James Amico at 23 years, or Leslie Avila at 23 years? The reason why I cite those names over 20, experience is two things. It's extremely valuable, that experience, or the employee has reached the total level of confidence. The Peter principle has been achieved because of length of service. It depends on the person. Do you do evaluations of sheriff's office employees? I already know the answer. The answer is no, because you're a buffoon, a stooge, incompetent. You're just lucky that there's no challenges for you at all. You're an accident of history, Todd Baxter, and you don't know it. This is the Freedom of Information Law dated this June 30th, 2023. Tell me the answers, especially you, Director of Grand Jury, Michelle Crowder. I'll pursue your disbarment. I hope you don't answer. Freedom of Information Law. Information about the grand jury convened by District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, Todd, Christopher Chichester. That is 1, the day, month, and year the grand jury is convened. 2, the assigned District Attorney's Office employee to address the grand jury. 3, the witnesses that testified to the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, transcript of the jury proceeding. I know the answer to one of these questions. The witness testified to the grand jury. $73,000 Michael Houlihan testified to this grand jury and perjured himself. This is why. Again, language requires precision. When I'm going to call duly sworn office law perjury, this is why. $73,000 Michael Houlihan and $85,000 Don Benedetto walked onto the private property of my neighbor. Is that legal? You should know that answer, Perry Douglas and Michelle Crowley and District Attorney Sandra Doorley. I'm about to leave my residence. Anything they say, anything that happens before the back porch is bullshit. These are lying cops anyway. $73,000 Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto right next to the window of my 82-year-old neighbor. I'm going to Wegmans. It's midnight. This is on the body camera footage that the public defender's office sent to me and that Regina Harper played for me. I went to the public defender's office at 10 North Fitzhugh. I never stopped running. This is why $73,000 Michael Houlihan's a perjury. They come running at me, turn away, to run away. When I get to my bike, I have a hammer. I grab next to my bike. I place my foot in the first of 3 steps to run through the sliding glass door. Cop freak Michael Houlihan grabs my arm. The hammer goes up like this. I run through the sliding glass door. I never stop running. The only way for me to swing a hammer, Director of the Grand Jury, Michelle Crowley, at cop freak $73,000 Michael Houlihan, is if I stopped. And if I stopped, Houlihan and Benedetto would have run right into me. Then I say, fuck you on the body camera footage. And there's about another 7 or 8 of them out there just stalking me this night. And that's when Don Benedetto came to my door and he says his name. He doesn't even know that he's a cop freak. When he says his name at my front door, I think he believes he has to. When Michael Houlihan went back to the District Attorney's office and met with you, Director of the Grand Jury, Michelle Crowley, had to. You can tell me if that's not true. You could be in the grand jury when Michael Houlihan states in the grand jury, I swung a hammer, he perjures himself. What do you think about what I said? You have documentation that I just sent to you in your office. And those slips I held up, I again explained this disgusting, sick night where I'm being stalked in Penfield, New York by 2 cop freaks. Is there a transcript to it? You refuse to answer all those questions. I walked into the Penfield Public Library, again, I'm being stalked. When I leave my residence for the last time, I moved to Penfield in 2012. My then girlfriend Laura arrived. This is going to be the last time I leave. I don't know it. I don't know this is the last time I exit 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield. Because $1,000 cop freak Richard J.C. was looking out my front door. Tom Baxter, did you send $75,000 cop freak Richard J.C. into my front door at 26 Sanders Farm Drive? Or did you not know there's loose cannon cops there? Again, the accountability for you, you don't think you have to answer a goddamn thing. I walk into the Penfield Public Library after I walk down Bad Road. I sit down at the computer after I get a number. In walks Seidman and his ridiculous partner. I stand up. Seidman ran in the library, slammed his arm in the side of my head. So it was the force of his violent attack upon me by $75,000 Richard J. Seidman. I fell backwards, and then my head hit the ceramic hard tile of the library floor. And he kicked me when I was down on the floor. Him and the other guy. He picks me up, puts the handcuffs on. As he frog marches me out of the library, I'm thinking, I'm so glad Laura doesn't work here anymore. Because I used to go see my girlfriend, Laura Riley, at the library. That's my exact one. I'm not thinking about violence being exacted upon me. I'm thinking, I'm so glad she isn't here and didn't see this happen to me. Pay attention, Perry Douglas. And you too, you bald-headed $28,000 judge from hell, Paul C. Metzer. There's no one from the district attorney's office there. But there is a public defender's office. You, Julie Sianka of the Public Defender's Office, know I'm supposed to be in court. You don't contact me. There's no contact from you, Public Defender Julie Sianka, to me, even though there's your public defender standing right there after I'm violently attacked by Richard J. Seaman. Is this constitutional? Perry Douglas and Mark Monahan and Michelle Crowley, District Attorney's Office. I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is constitutional for one judge anywhere in the United States of America to convene a court without an assistant district attorney or district attorney present to make an argument that the defendant committed a crime and then have the defendant delivered to jail. Tell me the answer. No one from the district attorney's office. Paul C. Metzger has a statement to read. I talked over it the whole time. My head is pounding. My ears are ringing as she's reading the statement. Paul C. Metzger sat in her home or in Little Pempton Town deciding as one person she wants to send me to jail, and she succeeded by contacting the sheriff's office. Paul C. Metzger contacted the sheriff's because that's why Richard J. Seaman and his psychopath partner are looking at me. She told your office, Todd Baxter, I want to send this citizen, Chris Chichester, to jail. Have the employees go to his residence and wait for him to come outside and then bring him to me. It's disgusting and sick. I fucking hope you burn in hell, Paul C. Metzger. The prosecutor stood in front of John P. Lenzo, didn't talk. Is this Julie Hahn or is this not Julie Hahn? Who's on Monroe County Court with 17% of the vote, which she's not the victor. So it's Alex Renzi who is the victor, 25% of the vote, is on a court, has power to destroy lives. And Julie Hahn, who's not the victor, it's 17%. She's on a court, has the power to destroy lives. These ridiculous laws that you use at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office to destroy lives. Documentation for the case of Chris Chichester, John P. Lenzo, Jr. Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? The payroll for the district attorney's office. The freak is right here. What's the name of the freak? Freedom of Information Law. This boy sent me to Livingston County Jail. You, Perry Douglas and Mark Monahan, and you, Michelle Krause, District Attorney's Office, can access your records and tell me the name of this boy, whose disbarment I pursue with the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court. I'll pursue disbarment for all my attorneys. I'll eventually acquire these names, you acts sociopaths. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before Paul C. Metzger, Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? The freak is right here. What's the name of this freak? The boy is right here. What's the name of this boy? So, freedom of information. You sent me in Dallas Renzi. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, Dallas Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? The freak is right here. What's the name of the freak? Is it $118,000 Nancy Gilligan, who's standing behind me in New York State Supreme Court? Because I have two females. I don't know if they're court employees or they have to be there because they're district attorney's employees. Is it $110,000 Meredith Smith? I don't know. You know. Is it $107,000 Alyssa Trulove? I don't know. You know. Is it $124,000 Amanda Bowling? I don't know. You know. Amanda Bowling makes $10,000 less than Todd Baxter. Nobody elected Amanda Bowling to anything. You, Sandra Doorley, your $210,000 salary, decided to pay Amanda Bowling $124,000. Patrick Gallagher, $124,000. Rachel Clark, $124,000. Rachel Clark, $124,000. Bianca D'Angelo, $114,000. Jennifer Kenny, $110,000. Those last three names, those three females, are they my prosecutors? Or all three of my prosecutors? Or one of my prosecutors? Who are my prosecutors to silence? How is any citizen delivered to jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk to court? Lunatic friends, you freaks. Paul C. Metzger. You, Todd Baxter, gave my private healthcare records to Paul C. Metzger. There's no excuse for you to say you didn't watch me because this is in your office. You can look at this FOIL. When I say it's in your office, you bald-headed Benito Mussolini student clothes, what I'm going to read here arrived. My former employers, the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, passed the Health Insurance Privacy Protection Act of 1996 to properly protect healthcare records. My healthcare records are not properly protected. When you, Todd Baxter, gave them to Paul C. Metzger, she asked me a question. I only told my mother and father. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to state the name of this place on Elmwood Avenue. You can figure it out. What Dr. Jeremy Smith said to me exactly what you shouldn't be here or release you. You're forcing me into these so-called centers to destroy my life. And then when a real medical professional evaluates me, I'm released. You paraded yourself as a doctor, Sheriff Todd Baxter. And this is a reason I hate, despise, and detest you. Freedom of Information. A copy of the private healthcare records delivered to $28,000 Pepper Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzger by Sheriff Todd K. Baxter from Monroe County in violation of Health Insurance Portability County of 1996. Answer me. Michael Rattler, Kathleen Miller, Scott Alberti, $101,000 William Tadeo. This is in the office of your boss. Tell your boss to answer me. He will refuse because he's corrupt. Now, Todd Baxter. When I use the phrase surveillance device, I want to make sure that I show you what it is. It's right there. Todd Baxter, is this private technology? This building has 2025 pen fee roll for a business called Consumer Insights. Well, your office president. Would you buy it and fix it for me? Tell me the answer, Sheriff Todd Baxter. And it will be rejection from you because you're corrupt. On this January 16th, to you in your office, the color photo. This is in the office of Attorney General Merrick Garland, United States Attorney for the Western District of New York, Trinity Ross. They'll be able to read if they open it, the mail, this language. Sheriff Todd Baxter, 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14604, January 16, 2023. This photograph is why a fanatic. This photograph is why an extremist. This photograph is why a liar. This photograph is why the name is $67,000 disgusting hack Shannon Meyer. This photograph is why people hate the police. I saw myself on these images the first time. The first time I was on this image, I'm calling this surveillance device. You're calling Renzi Banner, Lamar County Office of Mental Health. They come to my residence. When I use the phrase surveillance device, because you know the mentally ill, that they're under surveillance by the government. Nobody knows what they're talking about. How many times I have to demand of you to disclose to me if it's private technology, you bought it and fixed it for me, the facts, circumstances of that ridiculous camera on that building. You can go and look at it if you want. At the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. This is sexual harassment at the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. Tell me the answer. The cost of taxpayers, Monmouth County Sheriff Todd Baxter spending taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits, failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You know the answer, $34,000 capital month. So this is the payroll of the district attorney's office right here. Now, the power structure in any office, the more money you make, the more power you have to fend off by the fact that it's a $100,000 employee, unlike the $40,000 employee. So this is the second page of the district attorney's payroll. He's Lisa Gray, the first name. This is the counsel to the district attorney, $117,000. So Lisa Gray. Here we have Grace Lupiani, and that's such a beautiful name, Grace. I have a friend of mine whose daughter's last name, the great name is Grace. So Lisa Gray, $117,000, is insulated and protected from sexual harassment because she's a $117,000 employee, unlike Grace Lupiani at $48,000. This $69,000 pay raise disparity is why Lisa Gray is insulated and protected from sexual harassment, unlike Grace Lupiani. You know what I'm talking about, you hacks and sociopaths? You had such a level of insane corruption. I don't think you could even understand what I'm talking about, that district attorney's office, despite your education when you acquired that JD. So, these employees know, but how do you get everybody into that little shack? There are, I think, 150 names on here. There's at least 100 names on here because I've ridden my bike by it. And my exact thought is, how do you get everybody into that little shack? Tell me what the answer is. You won't refuse because you're corrupt. You're going to reject every single one. This is the first time I've written this one. I'm trying to enrage this $208,000 hack and fuss. When I send this to him, he hasn't received this yet. I hope he looks at this, he's enraged. You know what he's going to think? Because this is what happened to me. I'll be in jail again. Alex Renzi will look at this. It's the same language just read for you with the attorneys and sheriff's office. And he will think, I want to send this Chris Chavez to jail as one person. Because one person, anywhere in the state of New York, from Montauk, New York, on the eastern part of Long Island to Buffalo and everywhere in between, can send a defendant to jail, and that's a disgrace. Freedom of information law, the cost of taxpayers and supervisor Judge Alex Renzi, the New York State Supreme Court spending taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to apply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I'll look at him just like I do a gangster. Just like you, Sandra, Doorley, Todd, Baxter. And this gangster, Alex Renzi, when he looks at this, well, I'm demanding this sexual harassment at New York State Supreme Court, will think I want to send this defendant to jail. Overtime, time and a half. Todd Baxter, when your employees reach the 41st hour, there is overtime, time and a half. I'm less confident about the district attorney's office. There's no doubt about that. So what's the answer? When you don't answer, and I contact Thomas B. Apple, he'll be able to see that I've written this at least 30 times over the last 18 months. It's at least. What's the answer? Tell me the answer. Christopher.Chichester.mail.com, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604. My address is on file. Send me the entire payroll to the sheriff's office with everybody's overtime salary payment. Do you understand me, Todd Baxter? You refuse because you're corrupt. You will reject this because you're corrupt. Total cost of overtime time and a half hour paid on base house calculated to Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter. Same for the District Attorney's Office. Total cost of overtime time and a half hour paid on base house calculated to Monroe County District Attorney's Office of Sandra Doorley. How many of these employees here receive overtime time and a half when the 41st hours work? You know the answer here. Is Paula Pupatelli $51,173 paid overtime? I don't know, you know. Is Samuel Soprano Jr., I'm trying not to laugh, at $72,673 paid? Samuel Soprano Jr. That's a perfect name for you gangsters at the District Attorney's Office. $72,673. How do you arrive at that bizarre salary? Is there some type of civil service pay scale linked to the District Attorney's Office payroll? You're freaks. You'll never know you're freaks. You can't even have a coherent payroll. I don't have a photo of this. I'm going to move on in the interest of time. The photograph I've showed over and over. It's in your office. Your Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater and pool. I demand from you, is this tax dollars? You tell me it's a private event. I don't care if it's a private event. It's tax dollars. The cost for time session photograph 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater and pool by Sheriff Todd Baxter. Ludicrous, ridiculous, you bald-headed, Beano Mussolini stooge. Penford Court, where there is no jury of 12, where there is no table for a prosecutor to sit at, where there is no table for a defense attorney, the public defender, to sit at. There's no witness box for testimony. This little room is a joke. It's one person determining guilt or innocence. How many employees are there at Penford Court? It's a $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul Metzer, $34,000 James Millie Jr. old lady. It's Penfield Town Court, Molly and Metzer, disgusting two hacks. Just you three. Freedom of information law. Names and salaries of every public employee at Penfield Town Court, 1985 Bad Road, Penfield, New York, 14526. This will arrive in your office and refuse. You can't send me to jail, Paul C. Metzer, one psychopath, bald-headed widow, because I don't live in Penfield anymore. But that's what you're thinking. I wish I could send him to jail. You was one person. Well, you know a prosecutor doesn't have to talk to four. So, freedom of information. The names and salaries of a public employee in New York State Supreme Court on supervising Judge Adams Renzi, 99 Exchange Boulevard, Rochester, New York. He'll refuse because he's corrupt. Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia. Tell me why Ryan Fisher is in Atlanta, Georgia. Cost for hotel plane ticket from Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher to attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia, February 3rd, 2019. A disgrace that he's in Atlanta. Just like you're saying, Corey Brown and Michael Fowler paid more money than you to Saratoga. The contract for weapons. I've read this over and over now. When I contact Control Time Suite Apple, I'll say refusing. Contract signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff Office employees to include one, the name of the firearms contract, two different number of firearms purchased, the total amount of tax balance to purchase firearms. Todd Baxter, you decide your firearms. You decide the exact specific make, model, type of weapon, and you decide how to pay for it. I'm demanding you disclose that to me, and you're refusing. Travel, this can remove you from office. You're sending Corey Brown and Michael Fowler to Saratoga, sending Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia. You're going to the House Rules Committee that has nothing to do with law enforcement on Capitol Hill to testify. You Beano Mussolini skinhead joke and sociopath Todd Baxter, you freak. What's the cost of travel for all travel out of Monroe County? The cost for all travel from Monroe County and New York State by employees from Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter. Tell me what the answer is. All travel for the District Attorney's Office employees, tell me what the answer is. The cost for all travel from Monroe County, New York State by employees of Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. Cost for all travel, freedom of information law, Penford Town Court. You bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzer and James Millie Jr. going to these ridiculous conferences in Albany or some other place. Cost for all travel from Monroe County, New York State by employees of Penford Town Court, 1985 Bad Road, Penford, New York, 14526. This Alex Renzi, he'll look at this and be enraged and think I should be arrested in front of him so he can declare me guilty. I have no due process. I have no civil and constitutional rights. The cost for all travel from Monroe County, New York State by employees of the New York State Supreme Court, 99 Exchange Boulevard, Rochester, New York, 14604. You have a driver. You pathetic diva, Sandra Doorley. You're at Webster, where you live. Do you drive yourself into the office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, like an ordinary New York? You get behind the wheel and drive into 47 South Vitro. Or does a driver arrive at your residence every morning, Monday to Friday, and wait for you to exit your residence at Webster? You get in the car and you're driven into the District Attorney's office. Is it driving Sandra Doorley? Is it driving Miss Doorley Tell me the answer. I hope you don't answer. This can enrage people if you have a driver and you have a chauffeur. I don't know. I'm trying to think of things that you freaks are doing and you sociopaths are doing. And these sociopath at the district attorney's office is Sandra Doorley, who's been there since 1992. Is this freak and this sociopath driving herself into the office like when they were in New Yorker? Or is this freak and this sociopath driven into the office? Freedom of information law, cost tax rates from automobile driver for district attorney Sandra Doorley. So you got everything. It's 30 minutes. I'm not going to be on here for too much longer. Weird things happen in this residence that I'm in here on Park Avenue. Man, I try to get out of here. What I don't have my D214 because you Todd Baxter. What I also don't have, I don't have any clothes because if you Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, I don't have any clothes because my 80-year-old landlord, Anthony Spina, locked the doors and locked me out. With the assistance of my ex-girlfriend without a parole when I was in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. I was driven back to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office from Livingston County Jail. I get my backpack that I had on Richard J. Seaman attack me. I run down Panther Road at midnight. You've seen that movie, The Gambler. I love that film so much. With Mark Wahlberg, he's running at the end. And I'm running, I have my backpack on, I'm running at midnight. Down Panther Road. I'm thinking the whole time, I need to go back to Albany. I'm running the whole time, and I get back to my residence. I live at 26 Sanders from driving. You can see from Panther Road. I put the key in the door, it doesn't open the door. I go around to the back where I have a key made with a New York Mets logo. My landlord, Anthony Spina, removed that key. I'm locked out. I'm locked out of my residence. I went to Harris Island Park, and I slept at Harris Island Park for 3 weeks. When I write to Colonel Plain about 80-year-old Anthony Spina doing this to me, he won't be arrested. So, as the sun comes through here in my $600 apartment in Rochester, New York, where it's one room, where I have nothing and own nothing and had to buy clothes at the Goodwill because you, Sheriff Baxter, and you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, for the destruction of my life. I had a key fob where I lived next to the transit center. So glad I have keys now. So, you know what justice is about? United States of America? Justice is about money. That's a one. I don't have a roll of 50s. Can't be employed when I've been in jail 6 times. If I had money, I'd be able to keep you hacks, sociopaths at bay. I wouldn't have spent one goddamn day in jail. Every now and again, you get to be a part of justice being done, and that's really quite a thrill when that happens. Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. My name is Chris Rochester. I live in Rochester, New York. I'm trying to be a part of justice being done.